Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Kerbal. So, how about that last mission, huh? That was something else. Quite an adventure we came back from, and we sure as hell got a lot of spoils for it as well, so... guess we should probably start by spending it. Although first, while I still remember... Yeah, let's get rid of all this debris. Recover that one. Terminate that one. Terminate that one. Terminate that one. These are all the empty fuel containers and decouplers that we left behind. So now that that's taken care of, let's go unlock some parts. See what we got. Now, our goal from the start here has been unlocking command modules. Apologies, by the way, if I'm a little bit slow. I haven't recorded a Kerbal Space Program episode in a couple days. It's been a while since I played the game. I do record on a backlog. That particular mission that we did, I did all those in one day, obviously. Anyway, before I get... No, I know I'm going to need command modules, so I'm just going to unlock this one. And then, because I'm getting command modules, this one is also something that I absolutely need, because this has the heat shield wide enough for us to land back on Kerbin. And then we got better and better landing gears. That all can wait. We have enough science left for one more unlock of this particular tier. I don't care about advanced construction yet. I don't care about propulsion systems for tiny spacecrafts. I don't care about aerodynamics. We all saw what happened last time we tried to fly a plane. Space exploration I do care about because it gives us the hitchhiker storage container, something that I'm really going to want. However, the other thing that I'm really going to want is this electrics thing, because it gives us a probe core and our first solar panels, which are kind of important. So I'm going to say that our ability to generate power, being able to use this hitchhiker storage container is something that you're going to use for space stations. But there's no space station without power generation, so I'm just going to go with this one first. And that's pretty much all the science that we can spend right now. So let's get out there and get some more. What kind of contracts you got for me? Conduct observational surveys. No. Okay, I guess I'm going to take this one for science data from around the moon. We know we're going to go back to the moon eventually, so we're going to take that one. Then we've got... I like rescue missions. I really like rescue missions because rescue missions allow you to get free Kerbals. Standard low orbit. We'll take this one. Do we have any? We have another rescue mission. Who is stranded in orbit around Kerbin. Not necessarily a standard orbit. Do I have... Can I see any information on her orbit? Danza. Interesting names. Really like these names. I'll take it anyway. No matter what kind of an orbit it is, I know that I can achieve it. It's just a question of can I do it in... Can I collect both of those Kerbals in one sweep, or do I have to send up multiple spacecrafts? Let's try doing it with one. That sounds like a good goal for this episode. We're a little exhausted from our moon journey, so let's do something a little bit more trivial this time and collect ourselves some stranded astronauts. We're not going to need a docking module. We're just going to need... We don't have the docking node for that size anyway. So we're going to put the large size parachute on the top, which means that I think we can forego the radial mounted parachutes. One of those should be more than enough. On the bottom of that, we are going to place our new heat shield. Not that one, this one. There we go. That craft should be sufficient to get us back onto Kerbin's surface. Doop-be-doop-be-doo. Next thing we're going to need, obviously, is we're going to have to start decoupling this from further stages. And then the craft that is going to be flying in space, I'm going to give it yay much fuel. Might even be too much. In fact, yeah, I think I'll take that down by 75%, to 75% there. And then I will place a Poodle engine on the back of this. The reason I need this much is because I do anticipate making orbital maneuvers. I haven't checked to see what Danzer's orbit is. I should do that, actually. That's fine, let's construct the vessel first. This is going to be a very simple vessel. The craft itself should have some batteries on it. Like 4 batteries and some small solar panels just to collect energy. It should be fine. Next up, we're going to need an orbital phase to push us into orbit. Click. Click. Plenty of fuel. And a strong engine. Strongest Dracomech size engine we have right now is still the Skipper. Eventually we're going to get the mainsail. It's a much better one. We're going to need some winglets. Like so. And then I'm going to put 4 solid fuel boosters on the bottom of this one. We are flying a much heavier engine this time. Heavier craft. Some more aerodynamics on there. And I can see that we're already way over exceeding our maximum weight. So this is not something that I can launch in its current state. I'm going to save this. This is not necessarily complete yet. There are still structural things that I want to fix on it. But I'm not even sure that I have the money to fix that. We might end up having to start, searching for ways to save on weight. But first, let's give this a new name. Are we abandoning the Orion spacecrafts at this point? Because this is radically different design from the other ones. I suppose if we want to follow in the tradition of naming them after, Greek mythological figures, or just, mythological figures in general, who would be a cool god to have a spacecraft named after? I'm a big fan of Freya. I can make that the Freya 1. And before I start slashing at the weight of the ship, let's take a look and see if I can't upgrade this. I can. It's going to cost us every last penny that we have. Ugh. I really shouldn't do that. Yeah. So we're going to have to find a way to complete this contract on another budget. Especially as you see the craft costs $41,000. Well, the easy thing that I can do is replace these with less powerful fuel boosters. That thing is never going to take off. Oh, man. Although, here's the thing. I do have plenty of room. And could put 6 of them on. Now, some of you might say this is overkill. To those people, I would say you are right. But I don't really have much choice. I can't put on the solid fuel boosters that I trust, so we're going with these ones. We're still below our weight limit. And most of this is going to be up to the liquid fuel engine to take off anyway. There we go. Don't have any stabilizers on this, so crew cockpit itself does have enough. And we have the winglets on the bottom. The last thing I want to do is I want to put some of these struts in between the solid fuel boosters. Give it some stability so that they don't wobble when we're done with them. We can just fly right through them when we're done. Alright, Freya 1, ready for launch. Almost, as soon as we get our staging set up properly. That's good, like that. Separate parachute. Now, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting an antenna, aren't I? Of course I am. Always forgetting antennas. Let's place a singular antenna on the spacecraft. Right about there. Gotta be careful with these things because you can actually obstruct your hatch. So you gotta be careful with that. We good? I think we're good. We don't have to perform docking precision maneuvers, so monopropellant tanks are not necessary. I can do most of it with just the Poodle engine on it. Yeah, well, Freya 1. We don't need a 3-man crew. We just need a single pilot. Jeb, you're up. Let's go bring those Kerbals home. Did I click the wrong button? I must have. Freya 1. Jeb. Launch. Okay, make sure I got everything set up properly. Staging is still correct. Yep. Fuel indicator set to stage U. Let's take a look at our... Oh, wow. That's an orbit, all right. Luckily, Gemsted's craft is actually fairly close. We're going to set that as our target. Let's do it. SAS on. Throttle up. 2/3 of the way. And let's activate those solid fuel boosters. Slow takeoff, but we're actually taking off this time, as opposed to our previous flight. Maiden voyage of the Freya-class starships now begin. We're actually speeding up fairly well at this point. Come on. Come on, you can do it. We're about to detach. See that? See how beautifully they then later collided? We're slowing down. Oh my goodness, we're slowing down. I'm going to start our gravity turn. Yeah, the skipper engine is probably not powerful enough to propel all this. I mean, not that we really have a choice. But I mean, you don't want to go too fast through atmosphere anyway. Doesn't help anybody. Alright, come on, we're speeding up again. We're gaining speed. Gain in velocity. Stay on this angle. Come on. Come on, we can do it. This, the time that we have right now, while we're waiting for our orbital path to become established, this is perhaps a good time for us to ask, you know, I wonder what Kerbal society is like. And you might be thinking that this question is coming a little bit out of left field, but I've been all over this planet, and the literal only settlement on all of it is the space program. The KSP launch facility, the space center, appears to be the only settlement on the entire planet. So is this like the small remaining survivors of an ancient society, of a long since dead civilization who are trying to save themselves by traveling out to the stars? Is it just that most of the cities or the settlements on Kerbin have moved underground or underwater? Is that why we can't see any of them? And the reason I ask this is because despite the fact that I have looked tirelessly around this planet to find signs of other life, needless to say, I haven't found any. The reason I would have expected there to be, obviously, is because you need like an infrastructure of miners and engineers and factories and a bunch of other different, supply chains in order to get the material to build spaceships like this. Furthermore, I also cannot possibly believe that the Kerbal Space Program I am running one that I am heading is the only Kerbal Space Program on Kerbin, considering that somehow other Kerbals who had nothing to do with my space program have managed to get stranded out in space. Now, how could that possibly have happened? Yeah, makes you think, doesn't it? I seem to remember, this is another one of those games that has a really good modding scene, actually. A lot of mods are available for this game. Some that, you know, extend the experience, some make it look better. I know this is how I, you know, suddenly remembered to talk about this, because, you know, there is a mod to enhance Kerbin. I believe it placed, you know, cities and signs of civilization onto the planet. But there are also mods available for this game to just kind of make it more tedious by, like, I remember at one point I believe I downloaded a colonizer pack for my older game, and it just made colonizing planets all the more difficult by having to make multiple extra launches in order to, you know, build a full colony. And I just didn't have the patience for it, especially since I came to a realization that assembling a base, like a complex of buildings in orbit and then landing it on the planet that you want to put it on, is actually easier, I think, than landing the individual parts and assembling on the surface of the planet. If for no other reason than because docking two things that have nothing but landing struts and no method of maneuvering after, you know, landing, it's pretty tough. You know, most of you who don't actively play Kerbal Space Program probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but one day, folks, on the Daily Kerbal, we are going to get to that point where we start constructing surface bases. Personally, I can't wait, because I like leaving my mark all over space. I don't think I seem to remember there also being a like limit of Kerbals that you can have. I don't think that we can have enough Kerbals to have active settlements, active research outposts on every planet in the solar system, the Kerbal system. But oh, hey, check it out! We got a rendezvous over there. Doesn't matter because we're not circling yet. We almost are. I throttled down just because we're so close and we have half a tank of fuel left. I'm thinking, you know, I believe that we're still going to have enough fuel left to pick up both, I forget their names. What do we got? We got Gemstead. We're going to have enough fuel to pick up both Gemstead and Danzer Kerbin from their orbits and still return. It takes a relatively small amount of fuel to maneuver around Kerbin once you've actually got out there. Most of our fuel is consumed getting into orbit. Come on. Give me 70. There we go. Push it a little higher. That's right. Now, our orbital path is larger, meaning that we're going to be letting it catch up to us. Now, we are closer than him, but I mean, technically, I suppose we could. Nah, screw it. Let's just speed up the clock. Let it come to us. Deactivate this. No, I can see our electric charge right there. SAS is on, which consumes electric charge, but I assume that since we're... Well, maybe it doesn't. How fast does this thing jump ahead? It's gonna take us a couple more circles. But I guess... Commit to the tedium. My eye is currently on the pink intersection. I wonder if the game expects me to construct settlements on Kerbin. It'd actually be very, you know, almost a much more interesting game if the Kerbals were really the last of their kind, trying to find a home for themselves outside of the stars. Like maybe this planet is approaching the end of its life cycle. Maybe the reason that the people have left it or died out on it is because it's pulling itself too close to the sun. Like, Kerbal's son is just way too old. I don't know. I also probably overthink things that are... I mean, the Kerbals are basically just a bunch of very cute minion ripoffs who are trying to build themselves funny-ass spaceships that take them out to the stars and hopefully don't explode every time. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot of depth to them. Although I would be interested in what kind of society they were running while they were still in early access. I mean, it took them like about a month or so before launch to realize that they needed females in order to stay alive. Okay, I am watching the orange intersection point right now. All right, one more orbit should do it. Man, really is a peaceful game. When I say one more orbit, by the way, one more orbit until I can start adjusting our trajectory, so it's 2 more orbits. 2 more orbits until we rendezvous. Luckily, our rendezvous is enough now. I just kind of got to get close to the ship and slow down enough to pick him up. Okay. Orange one is closer. I guess we might as well just wait there. Let's see. Slow her down. Set us to retrograde, I believe. Yep. All right, and now let's start burning retro. See if that helps. Yep. They're closing in. .7. I should be able to bring some down on that by going over here and burning normal to the descent node marker. I can't actually set us up to the normal vector. I'm going to have to find that manually. I believe it should be this way. Turn that off. Nope, that's anti-normal. I gotta learn how to use nav balls, man. Alright, let's see. Okay, keep a steady, Jeb. Okay. 7, should just... 5, 4... Well, 6 kilometers is pretty far away, but we'll make it work. Really, at this point, I'm just... No, I don't, no. That's not what I wanted to warp here. Okay. So, if I had been more precise with my rendezvous, then I would have had less work to do around this area. And, you know, ultimately, it would have saved us fuel, obviously. So, at 1 minute out, we're traveling at 116 meters per second in comparison to our target. So I gotta slow us down, point ourselves toward the retrograde direction. And remember, when we're rendezvousing with something, we pull the prograde vector and push the retrograde. So I gotta burn like that, right? See it moving away from my mark? I wanna match these. And at the same time bring our relative speeds down. If you look at the direction that we're burning right now, if you can see it, I don't know how, it's not too dark on my screen, but you might not be able to see it. We're performing this in the dark again. I apologize for that. But, like, just looking at these things on a nav ball, it might not necessarily make sense as to why the retrograde vector moves away from us and the prograde vector moves towards us. But if you're looking at the actual, you know, like, direction that the spacecrafts are moving and what direction the thruster is pointing, it kind of makes sense then. This is the easiest way for me to understand stuff like this, is just to sort of see them. If somebody were to give me a official theoretical explanation as to how this works, I probably wouldn't get it. If somebody showed it to me, I would. That's the reason that I think this game is so amazing, is because that's the entire concept that this thing is based around, really. if you explain to somebody what an orbital path is, what a periapsis and an apoapsis is, you know, they probably would be, like, the first time you explain it to them, like, oh, yeah, sure, I remember that thing. But the moment that they start, like, maneuvering around them, when they start manipulating their periapsis and apoapsis in a simulation like this, then they're going to remember. All right, bring us close. Speed us up. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we are pointing at the ship. I don't necessarily want to hit it dead on. I'm going to slow us now to a relative speed of 1 meter per second. Maybe, you know, even 2, just so we have some fuel left. There, like that. Now I'm going to switch over to the other craft. It's a lander can, wouldn't you believe it? Again, so many questions. I have so many questions about this. Now let's get Gemstead out of there. All right. And then I'm just going to use her propellant. I also didn't realize that Gemstead was a... I was convinced that Gemstead was a guy. Didn't realize Gemstead was a woman's name. Okay, and I'm just going to use the EVA propellant to bring us in. $300 meters out. Just kind of push us in that direction. $200 meters. Okay, time to slow down. Maybe not that much. It's going to pass below us. It's perfect. Craft is somewhere all the way out there. All right, now slow down. All right. Let's find the hatch. It's right there. Go ahead and grab on. Sweet. All right, that's one Kerbal rescued. Now, we have less than half a tank of fuel remaining. And we have one more Kerbal left to save. I'm going to set this target and see if we can't do it. We might be able to do it. Shouldn't be too difficult. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to equate our orbits, or align our orbits more like. I'm going to have to burn along the normal vector again because we want to push our orbit upwards. So let me see if I can't turn off the target camera for now. Switch to the orbital view, and there's the normal vector. Sweet, found it first time this time. Okay, and burn. 18.7. Make sure periapsis is rising. Good, good. Good. Don't want our periapsis to drop. I should also quick save, just in case it turns out that we don't have enough fuel for this. The actual inclination of our orbit is going to be somewhat more fuel consuming than just extending it. We're also pushing outwards a bit, which is fine. 13. Let's burn a little faster. Burning a lot of fuel. Yeah, this might be a futile attempt. If it doesn't work, I'll just quick save and bring us back to Kerbin. But if it does, we'll have 2 astronauts for the price of 1 launch. But we're not going to make it. I'm just telling you right now. Close. I will stop at 2. In fact, that'll do right now. Okay, because it wasn't dropping any further. Now let's just point to prograde. I'm gonna wait until here. Stick us to prograde. This should go a lot faster. Let's burn efficiently. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Pretty sure it's not gonna work. If I had more weight capacity to bring more fuel on, would have been just fine. Although, I could still try. I'm still going to. We're catching up to it, so that's gonna, yeah. We'll see. We will see. We want to let it pass us. Okay. Now we accelerate we slow down retrograde, I think. No, we accelerate prograde. That's a huge, huge separation. That separation is huge. I'll take us ahead to our periapsis, because I might be able to bring it down just a bit. We only need to get, like, somewhat close to each other. Yes, prograde is exactly the way I need it to go. Where's the separation? Separation 43.1 kilometers. 40... Nope. 40 is the best we can do. That's way too far away. That's not enough fuel, so without, going through the motions of trying to salvage this, I'm just going to go back to our apoapsis and burn retrograde, bring us home. Do we even have enough fuel to do that? We should. Yeah. Take it to 38. Alright, well, we didn't manage to rescue 2 astronauts today. We did rescue 1, though. That'll just have to do. We also made it back up to high Kerbin orbit. This neat little vessel doing its job well. We're currently suffering from constraints that are placed on us by our weight limits. So that's something we're going to have to overcome. We're going to have to earn some extra cash in order to fix that problem. I'm going to use what's left of our fuel to slow us down. Actually, I'm going to wait a little bit. Wait until we actually let's start slowing us down. Not a lot of fuel left. Should burn through it pretty quickly. There we go. And we detach. And let gravity take care of the rest. I have us on a fairly flat angle. We should be fine. And we're bringing down a single command pod this time, instead of that tower that we tried to bring down previously. Okay, orbital camera has activated. It means we have an suborbital trajectory already. Going pretty fast. 20,000 meters. But we're not dropping down too quickly. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're a lot safer at that 44,000 periapsis than I like to remember. Now let's see what kind of a drag this parachute just happens to have. Can turn off the SAS now. And in fact, slow down the descent. Yep, this one opens up 1,000 meters above sea level. Above the ground, so we're going to land at around 500 meters above sea level. There goes our fuel engine. And here we go. Actually, it looks like it opened up 500 meters above our landing. It fell down too fast for the heat shield to survive. Everything else is just fine, though. Good job, guys. Well done, and let's see what we got. We got... Come on. Alright, we got... a scientist. Gemstead Kerman is a scientist, and she's a level 1 scientist now because she somehow managed to get out to orbit on her own, but lost literally every part of her spaceship except for the command pod. Kind of lucky, actually, when you think about it. I do hope that she's being questioned about that. Gemstead, well done. Gemstead has been recovered in one piece and is now enjoying a thorough debriefing from the comfort of her quarantine cell. Yeah, I should think so. So many questions for her. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Next episode, we're going to try to continue and earn some more cash. Do I still not have... I still do not have an assignment to build a space station, but we're also going to have to remember to keep collecting science, because completing contracts does not get us science very quickly. Anyway, next episode I think we might try a second rescue, this time performing a rendezvous in high Kerbin orbit. And, well, I will see you all there and then. Bye-bye.